Hey guys, it's Matthew here once again, and today I want to introduce you to a melee quote-unquote jug. I have played plenty of melee jugs in the past, I've played plenty of melee staff characters in the past, but things are a lot better these days than they once were, and without really having to change too much or get too innovative, it's just way better doing basically the same thing, but with today's gear and today's ascendancies and various other shenanigans. So this character right here is based around Ground Slam at the moment and Val Ground Slam, and being a jug, it scales area quite profusely. In the end, we have quite a lot of area from the passive tree and then the jug endurance charges, as well as the area gem, and then Ground Slam itself has a lot of radius, and the result is screen wide AoE clear with Val Ground Slam, and almost screen wide clear with just the regular Ground Slam. This type of character can do just about every skill that a staff can use, which is quite a lot of skills, things like Earthquake, Cyclone, Infernal Blow, Glacial Hammer, Ice Crash, whatever the hell you want, and it should be roughly 1-to-1 just as good. As well as that, tried something like Consecrated Path. That's probably my close second if I was going to play another skill, but it just feels a little clunky for me at the moment compared to something like a Ground Slam with this level of area anyway. The build is based around just wearing a staff. Any old real basic staff will do, at least the elder versions of staffs, ones that have crafted Fortify, Power Charge on Crit, Endurance Charge on Stun, and then multi-modded around it. Whereas past versions of this type of build would have been a Hedgies era staff, which currently is about 50% less output. And that used to be the premier staff in the game, but with the multi-modding and elder staffs, you can make so much better and quite easily. Just it is a few exalt investment because you have to get the crafts onto the staff. This one here, though, is just an endurance charge on stun staff, which gives an extra 24% more damage, and the result is it's got more DPS than you'll ever need for everything in the game, and scaling with an Abyssus, you do end up having well over 500 crit multi, a lot of physical damage, and, well, this version of the build converts its damage from physical to mostly cold. You have a pair of Hrimsorrow gloves that do 50% fizz to cold, and you have a Watcher's Eye that does a Hatred mod, converting 37%, though it goes up to 40%, and currently I'm dealing 87% of my damage as cold, almost no physical, and then some extra damage from Herald of Ash as well. The result, it's something that is probably going to be a lot more damage and easier to scale than pure physical, because you can get elemental damage scaling, you can get weapon elemental damage scaling, you can get inspiration scaling, and then a bunch of other additional modifiers like the ones on an amulet. And as well as that, running Herald of Ash, you do have quite a lot of overlap damage on things that you miss, and in the end it gives us a playstyle which should be a hit hard, hit once sort of deal. Very rarely do we need to hit things a second time, and quite often you don't have good enough attack speed to warrant needing a second hit because we hit so freaking hard with that first one. The Val Ground Slams, however, are absolutely delicious because they are screen wide, and those are the ones that hit twice as hard as well. You will be stunning endgame bosses with this shit, and you will be clearing legions like a madman. It has been some of the funnest one-button skill out there to press, similar to a Val Ice Nova or a Val Arc, but it's the melee version of those skills, I suppose. It charges up really quickly as well, so you do get to press Val Ground Slam many times during a single map. It doesn't have much cooldown period and charges up quickly, so it is a skill you get to play around with quite a lot. Or you can just play some Val Earthquake, similar to my last Earthquake build, but I wanted to really play around with Ground Slam for the first time in a while, since it has had some changes, some damage number buffs, and it's a pretty satisfying skill once the scaling starts to come together. So this is why we're doing Ground Slam as opposed to any other skill, but as I mentioned, this type of character is basically a template for any melee build. So you can take a staff jug similar to this one and insert whatever you want to play and still have plenty of success. It's just going to take a few exalts to get a staff. You're going to basically do nothing else, actually, now that I think about it. A combs would be nice, which is what I'm currently wearing, and in the end you could shoot for 7k life. At the moment I'm going to be probably sticking to about 6k. I'm already tankier than I possibly need to be, even with an Abyssus on. All these endurance charges and the Jug Ascendancy just makes you thickly tank, and I don't think I need any more than that, because the game honestly gets a little boring at that point. So let's get into how I've built this character and show you what I've done so far. So here is our current character level 86 Juggernaut Armor Van Buren. Kind of based around armor, but not too heavily, because I haven't stacked all that much and I don't have the Unbreakable Ascendancy, which would give you a lot more thickness, but I instead opted for maximum area, maximum damage, bit smoother power, endurance charge gain, all the accuracy that caps your accuracy basically easily, and then the thickness from Unrelenting that gives you a bit more endurance charge thickness, while also giving you some chaos res and some elemental damage reduction too. Could easily go for Unbreakable if you want even more damage reduction and all that, but it doesn't feel necessary at all. Even wearing Abyssus at the moment, I don't actually feel it in any way, shape or form. I'm still way tankier than, well, anything else I've played this league, I do believe. Now, as I mentioned, we are based around a Elder type staff. This one here is Endurance Charge on melee stun, and also happen to hit Emperors on top of it, and then you multi-mod around that. It does look like kind of an impressive staff, but it's ultimately not that good. A basic Fortify staff is better. So if you just get Fortify onto your staff, and then, you know, single out that one prefix and then multi-mod around it with the exact same stuff, but another prefix of attacks penetrate 15% for LE resists, then it's actually better. So to give you just a quick example, here's our current PB 1.6 million ground slam. That's my staff. And then if you just get a basic Fortify staff instead, this one here, not even the max level Fortify, you should have more damage. It's a damage upgrade, and then you have perma Fortify rather than relying on it from your leap slam. So this would actually be better, but I tried to craft one of my own, and this is what I got, and I definitely couldn't roll over it, so I decided to go with it. It's pretty basic to roll these. Just look for the prefix, keep regaling till you get something good, or just try and isolate the Fortify mod. Now, as I mentioned, we are based around ground slam. You can see that it has lots of plus radius, lots of damage added as physical, and then also 50% more when you're right next to the target. It looks, since you can't really tell throughout the videos, thanks to the MTX, something like that. With the amount of area I have, it's actually pretty filthy, and we can even make it bigger by maxing out our endurance charges, hopefully, in just a second. We'll get there. Here it comes. Any second now. Come on. Max them out. Boom. So that's our maximum area on ground slam. It's a big difference from when you first start with it at level 1. And Vile Ground Slam basically does this, but throughout the entire screen, and you get to press it quite often. And as you can tell, Vile Ground Slam has twice as much damage, or almost twice as much, so it hits for a huge amount. And in the end, I'm hitting for something like 1.5 to 2 million damage per Ground Slam on average, which is quite large for a single hit. So endurance charges scale the area and then also the damage in my case, thanks to the endurance charge and melee stun, but they're mostly there to try and counter out the Abyssus, and then you're a Jug overall just for the extra tankiness and the accuracy capping. But you could probably do something similar on plenty of other Ascendancies. Our current links are LE damage with attacks, melee physical damage, pulverize, inspiration, and increased area. Bear in mind, inspiration scales your elemental damage, so you do have to convert physical to elemental to get full advantage of this, but it's such a nice gem because it does give you pretty much 5 stacks almost all the time for a large LE bonus, and then makes your skill very cheap. I'm currently on a 20 mana ground slam. I don't have any leech in my build for mana whatsoever. It's just pure regen, and it seems to work out fine since I don't really need to attack any faster, and I don't need that mana leech. If I did need it, I'd have to be going somewhere over here or get some on my gear, but I don't have much physical to deal with or play around with in any case. So we are converting, as I mentioned, through Hrimsorrow, which give 50% converted to cold, and then my Watcher's Eye, which just does 47 converted to cold with Hatred. So we're not quite fully capped yet. You can anoint a Winter's Spirit, but I'm definitely going to be anointing Primeval Force instead. In long term for penetration, because our penetration is not that good. We have some over here, we have a little bit there, we will get this one here, and then as well as that, I'll probably have to triple balance a Wise Oak as well, and a little bit over here too, because we are fully Ellie, and it's going to be a little bit tough as a Jug to get that penetration in, but also a Frost Bomb is going to help in the end too, since most of my damage is cold. Character is still a little bit of a work in progress, but the gear should be pretty locked in at this point, except for the boots, because I will be using boots for a triple balanced Wise Oak. Try and get some extra cold or lightning fire on your amulet with some other good stats if you can. I'm currently using my previous Assassin Mark ring, though it's not very relevant because when you one-shot things, you don't curse on hit, so rarely am I actually cursing on hit and having power charges throughout a map. It's mostly there for a boss fight, I suppose. Very questionable choice here in the end with the way the playstyle has ended up being. Get yourself an Abyssus, and then I grabbed a Circle of Anguish that has just Herald of Ash buff effect and some fire resist for easier gearing. I did happen to have 2 good implicits as well. This one cost me about 50C. You can do other rings, you can do a Mark of the Elder, you could definitely do a Herald of Ice ring as well, since we are largely stacking cold damage. So plenty of choices to be made there, but that's currently what I'm doing. And there's plenty of chest choices to make if you want to do something different, not a Combs, like a Elder crit chest or a Lore Weave, all kinds of things. It will still work out fine. You just have to focus a bit more on the life side of things on your passive tree, because I haven't done much life scaling at all yet. I'm at like 150% life, maybe 140, and we're still at this much. But like I said, I'll probably hit about 6k, and it's still very, very tanky. I wouldn't focus too much on the life total. It's more about your effective HP at this stage. If you want to know a little bit about my micros, just Illusionist Weapon, which is for staves, so it looks kind of like that, and then Void Emperor crap, Pioneer Helm, Wasteland Horns, Glowing Red Eyes, and I think that's pretty much all I need to mention for now about the character. Like I said, you could play just about any other melee skill out there. Currently Ground Slam is what I'm doing, and I'm enjoying it quite a lot, and probably what I'll stick to because it's working and I don't really want to rock the boat in that circumstance. Running Hatred, level 1 or 2 precision or something, Herald of Ash and Sand Stance, and for jewels you're looking for crit multi, attack speed, stuff like that. And then we have Fortify attached to Ancestral Warchief for faster attacks and Leap Slam, and some Blood Rage up here. And if you're going to try and do the same sort of tree as this character, it kind of builds itself. You go wherever you want. I just went through here, over here, and then filled out the Templar area first, and then started to focus on the staff nodes and crit and area, and then crit everywhere else. And it pretty much fills itself out because you don't really have too many options, and you can start becoming crit pretty early on. And I went with my Ascendancy as the accuracy one first, and then towards Unrelenting, so that I could fill out my tankiness and start to feel pretty good about taking damage with an Abyssus. I put it on around level 70. You don't really even feel like you need it until much later on in any case. But pretty flexible build, pretty easy to make a staff like this if you have about 5 or 6 exalts, and the rest of the gear is kind of sort of flexible as well. But if you want to go the same route as me with full converting, Hrimsorrow is pretty much the way to go because it's going to be hard to convert otherwise. So yeah, I had absolutely no direction with this character. I just knew I wanted to play Staff Jug and try out some skills as I go. Landed on Ground Slam, can do whatever the hell else you want though. So I do encourage you guys to try out your own things. Glacial Hammer, Ice Crash, Consecrated Path, all kinds of stuff will work and will be fun. But for now, that's the character. Thank you very much for watching and see you next time.